And I think one turning point too was maybe that in 1990 you started Young God Records.
Yeah, but that was a sort of thwarted venture. We released the first Swans album through Young God Records. Was distributed through Rough Trade, and then we did this album White Light from the Mouth of Infinity, and it was shipped out really well. It was doing really well, and then Rough Trade went bankrupt, and we didn't get paid for anything, of course, and it was just a disaster. And that came right after the disaster of being on this major label for the album The Burning World. That was pretty depressing and hard to keep going. But then I started borrowing the money and to make a record, and then I would license it to another company, license it from Young God Records to another company. And I didn't really start the label in earnest until 2000 or so, when I got a new distribution deal with a very good company in America. And then I started, the first thing we put out was Angels of Light, I think. No, The Body Lovers was the first thing. And slowly learned how to run a record label. I mean, not in a typical way. I do it in a very simple way.
Which is?
Well, it's just money comes in, money goes out. The difference is the profit, rather than these very complicated contracts and accounting systems that most labels have, so the artist ends up getting nothing. And I just keep things very simple. I don't play any of the publicity games or promotional games usually that most people try to do. Rely on touring and word of mouth, especially for the artists that I release. So then I don't know, after a couple of Angels records, I started releasing other people's music. The first thing we put out was Windsor for the Derby. And this group Kala, who were excellent in their day. And then Devendra Banhart happened along.
It was, for you, it was good.
Tremendous. It was a fantastic experience, personally, musically, and in every way. He's a tremendous artist. He's a magical child.
I think he slept in your...
Yeah, he stayed at our house on a couch sometimes. Yeah. Other people's couches. He stayed at squats. And he moved from Los Angeles to New York to be on the label. And we assembled his first record from these really amazing recordings he did just on a little handheld recorder, like a little cheap dictaphone thing, or in his friend's, he would set the phone, he would call his friend's message machine, set the phone down and play a song, and say, keep this message, so that he'd have the recording that way. So he had like 40 different songs recorded that way, and we sifted through them and made an album out of them. I just thought the sound itself was really important too, because it just sounded like an old 78 you might have found in someone's attic or something.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And then he was in New York for a while, and he actually played in Angels of Light. He played guitar on the Angels of Light tour, and opened solo acoustically first. That was my way of getting people to see him, was if they came to see me, because he was completely unknown. They would get to see him, and it worked because people just were astounded by him.
What do you think is his strength?
His words, his voice, his truly unique voice. His guitar playing, he's excellent. I mean, he's just whimsical, and he's one of those people that's just charmed.
That's right, yeah.
For me, like it's always difficult making music. And for him, he just sits and he just plays constantly, and it just flows out of him. He's always drawing, he's always playing, he never stops. It's just like it's like a television set, just pushing out information all the time.
It's for you then, let's go to the new album now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easier now for you then? Because you were saying for you it's more Devendra Banhart being a television, and everything comes out him. Is it for you? Does it get easier now to write songs?
No, it's harder.
Yeah. So you almost dried up, maybe, or I don't know.
Don't say that. Oh, that's always my fear, but something always happens, and I start writing again.
Okay, what happened then for this album, We Are Him? What happened that you said, well, that's
The songs just started coming. I don't remember which. I think maybe the song, which I guess I'll play for you, "Promise of Water." I wrote that, and then they started coming. Other ones came.